That time you went back that last time to look, was the ruin still there where you hid as a child? When was that? Grey day, took the 11 to the end of the line and on from there. No trams then, all gone long ago. That time you went back to look, was the ruin still there where you hid as a child? That last time? Not a tram left in the place, only the old rails. When was that? When you went in out of the rain. Always winter then. Always raining. That time in the portrait gallery. In off the street, out of the cold and rain. Slipped in when no one was looking, and through the rooms, shivering and dripping, till you found a seat, marble slab, and sat down to rest and dry off, and on to hell out of there. When was that? On the stone. Together in the sun on the stone at the edge of the little wood. And as far as I could see, the wheat turning yellow. Vowing every now and then you loved each other, just a murmur. Not touching or anything of that nature. You one end of the stone, she the other. Long, low stone, like millstone. No looks, just there on the stone in the sun with the little wood behind, gazing at the wheat. Our eyes closed, all still, no sign of life, not a soul abroad, no sound. Straight off the ferry and up the night bag to the high street, neither right nor left, not a curse for the old scenes, the old names, straight up the rise from the wharf to the high street, and there not a wire to be seen, only the old rails all rust. When was that? Was your mother, for God's sake, all gone long ago? That time you went back that last time to look, was the ruin still there where you hid as a child? Someone's folly. Was your mother, for God's sake, all gone long ago? All dust the lot, you the last, huddled up on the slab in the old green greatcoat with your arms round you, whose else, hugging you for a bit of warmth to dry off, and on to hell out of there and on to the next, not a living soul in the place, only yourself, and the odd attendant, drowsing around in his felt shufflers. Not a sound to be heard, only every now and then a shuffle of felt, drawing near, then dying away. All still. Just the leaves and ears, and you two still on the stone in a daze. No sound, not a word, only every now and then to vow you loved each other, just a murmur. One thing could ever bring tears till they dried up altogether. That thought, when it came up among the others, floated up that scene. Foley, was it? Foley's Folly, bit of a tower still standing, all the rest rubble and nettles. Where did you sleep? No friend, all the home's gone. Was it that kip in the front where you... No, she was with you then. Still with you then. Just the one night in any case. Off the ferry one morning and back on her the next, to look. Was the ruin still there where none ever came? Where you hid as a child, slip off when no one was looking, and hide there all day long on a stone among the nettles with your picture book. Till you hoisted your head. And there before your eyes when they opened, a vast oil, black with age and dirt. Someone famous in his time. Some famous man or woman or even child, such as a young prince or princess. Some young prince or princess of the blood, black with age, behind the glass. Where gradually as you peered, trying to make it out, gradually of all things a face appeared. Had you swivel on the slab to see who it was there at your elbow. On the stone in the sun, gazing at the wheat or the sky, are the eyes closed, nothing to be seen but the wheat turning yellow in the blue sky, vowing every now and then you loved each other. Just a murmur. Tears without fail till they dried up altogether. Suddenly there, in whatever thoughts you might be having, whatever scenes perhaps way back in childhood, or the womb, worst of all, or that old Chinaman long before Christ born, with long white hair. Never the same after that. Never quite the same. But that was nothing new. If it wasn't this, it was that. Common occurrence, something you could never be the same after. Crawling about year after year, sunk in your lifelong mess, muttering to yourself, who else? You'll never be the same after this. You were never the same after that. Or talking to yourself, who else, out loud, imaginary conversations, there was childhood for you. 10 or 11 on a stone among the giant nettles, making it up, now one voice, now another, till you were hoarse. And they all sounded the same, well on into the night, some moods, in the black, darker moonlight, and they all out on the roads looking for you, or by the window in the dark, harking to the owl, not a thought in your head, till hard to believe, harder and harder to believe you ever told anyone you loved them, or anyone knew, till just one of those things you kept making up to keep the void out. Just another of those old tales to keep the void from pouring in on top of you, the shroud. Never the same. But the same as what, for God's sake? Did you ever say I to yourself in your life? Come on now. Could you ever say I to yourself in your life? Turning point, that was a great word with you before they dried up altogether. Always having turning points, and never but the one, the first and last. That time curled up, worm in slime, when they lugged you out and wiped you off and straightened you up. Never another after that. Never looked back after that. Was that the time? Or was that another time? Muttering that time all together on the stone in the sun. At that time together on the towpath. At that time together in the sand. That time. Making it up from there as best you could. Always together somewhere in the sun on the towpath, facing downstream into the sun sinking and the bits of flotsam coming from behind, and drifting on. Or caught in the reeds, the dead rat it looked like, came on you from behind, and went drifting on till you could see it no more. That time you went back to look, was the ruin still there where you hid as a child, that last time? Straight off the ferry and up the rise to the high street to catch the 11, neither right nor left, only one thought in your head, not a curse for the old scenes, the old names, just head down, press on up the rise to the top, and there stood waiting with the night bag, till the truth began to dawn. When you started not knowing who you were from Adam, trying how that would work for a change, not knowing who you were from Adam, no notion who 'twas saying what you were saying, whose skull you were clapped up in, whose moan had you, the way you were. Was that the time? Or was that another time? There alone with the portraits of the dead, black with dirt and antiquity, and the dates on the frames in case you might get the century wrong. Not believing it could be you, till they put you out in the rain at closing time. No sight of the face or any other part. Never turned to her, nor she to you, always parallel, like on an axle tree. Never turned to each other, just blurs on the fringes of the field. No touching or anything of that nature. Always space between, if only an inch. No pawing in the manner of flesh and blood. No better than shades, no worse if it wasn't for the vows. No getting out to it that way, so what next? No question of asking. Not another word to the living as long as you lived. So footed up in the end of the station, bowed half double. Get out to it that way. All closed down and boarded up. Direct terminus of the great southern and eastern, all closed down and the colonnade crumbling away. So what next? The rain and the old rounds. Trying making it up that way as you went along. How it would work that way for a change. Never having been. How never having been would work the old rounds. Trying to wangle you into it, tottering and muttering all over the parish, till the words dried up and the head dried up and the legs dried up, whosever they were. Or it gave up, whoever it was. Stock still. Always stock still. Like that time on the stone. Or that time in the sand, stretched out parallel in the sand in the sun. Gazing up at the blue. Our eyes closed, blue, dark, stock still, side by side, seen float up, and there you were, wherever it was. Gave it up. Gave up and sat down on the steps in the pale morning sun. No, those steps got no sun, somewhere else. Then gave up. and off somewhere else, and down on a step in the pale sun, a doorstep, say, someone's doorstep, for it to be time to get on the night ferry, and out to hell out of there. No need sleep anywhere, not a curse for the old scenes, the old names. The passers pausing to gape at you, quick gape, then pass on, pass by on the other side. Stock still, side by side in the sun, then sink and vanish without your having stirred any more than the two knobs on a dumbbell, except the lids, and every now and then the lips, to vow. And all around, all still, all sides, wherever it might be, no stir or sound, only faintly the leaves and the little wood behind, or the ears, or the bench, or the reeds, as the case might be, of man. No sight of man or beast, no sight or sound. Always winter then, always raining, always slipping in somewhere when no one would be looking. In off the street out of the cold and rain, in the old green hole-proof coat your father left you. Places you hadn't to pay to get in, like the public library. That was another great thing, free culture. Far from home, or the post office. That was another place, another time. Huddled on the doorstep, in the old green greatcoat, in the pale sun, with the night bag needless on your knees, not knowing where you were, little by little, not knowing where you were, or when you were, or what for. Place might have been uninhabited for all you knew, like that time on the stone, the child on the stone, where none ever came. Or alone in the same scenes, making it up that way to keep it going, keep it out on the stone. Alone on the end of the stone with the wheat and blue, or the towpath, alone on the towpath with the ghosts of the mules, the drowned rat or bird or whatever it was floating off into the sunset, till you could see it no more. Nothing stirring, only the water and the sun going down till it went down. And you vanished. All vanished. None ever came but the child on the stone among the giant nettles, with the light coming in where the wall had crumbled away, pouring on his book well on into the night. Some moods, the moonlight, and they all out on the roads looking for him, or making up talk, breaking up two or more, talking to himself, being together that way where none ever came. Always winter then. Endless winter, year after year, as if it couldn't end. The old year never end. Like time could go no further. That time in the post office, all bustle, Christmas bustle. In off the street when no one was looking, out of the cold and rain, pushed open the door like anyone else, and straight for the table, neither right nor left, with all the forms and the pens on their chains, sat down first vacant seat and were taking a look round for a change before drowsing away. Or that time alone on your back in the sand, and no vows to break the peace. When was that? An earlier time, a later time, before she came, after she went, or both? Before she came, after she was gone. And you back in the old scene, wherever it might be. Might have been the same old scene before as then as after. With the rat or the wheat, the yellowing ears. Or that time in the sand, the glider passing over, that time you went back soon after, long after. 11 or 12 in the ruin on the flat stone among the nettles in the darker moonlight, muttering away now one voice, now another. There was childhood for you. Till there on the step, in the pale sun, you heard yourself at it again. Not a curse for the passers pausing to gape at the scandal, huddled there in the sun where it had no warrant, clutching the night bag, drooling away out loud, eyes closed, and the white hair pouring out down from under the hat, and so sat on in that pale sun, forgetting it all. Perhaps fear of ejection. Having clearly no warrant in the place, to say nothing of the loathsome appearance. So this... Look round for once at your fellow bastards, thanking God for once, bad and all as you were not as they. Till it dawned that for all the loathing you were getting, you might as well not have been there at all. The eyes passing over you and through you like so much thin air. Was that the time? Or was that another time? Another place, another time. The glider passing over. Never any change. Same blue skies. Nothing ever changed, but she with you there or not, on your right hand. Always the right hand on the fringe of the field. And every now and then in the great peace, like a whisper so faint, she loved you. Hard to believe you, even you, made up that bit. Till the time came in the end. Making it all up on the doorstep as you went along. Making yourself all up again for the millionth time. Forgetting it all. Where you were and what for. Foley's folly and the lot, the child's ruin. You came to look. Was it still there to hide in again? Till it was night and time to go, till that time came. The library. That was another place, another time. That time you slipped in off the street out of the cold and rain when no one was looking. What was it then? You were never the same after. Never again after. Something to do with dust. Something the dust said, sitting at the big round table with a bevy of old ones pouring on the page and not a sound. That time in the end when you tried and couldn't, by the window in the dark, and the owl flown to hoot at someone else, or back with a shrew to its hollow tree and not another sound, hour after hour, hour after hour, not a sound, when you tried and couldn't anymore. No words left to keep it out, so gave it up. Gave up there by the window in the dark or moonlight, gave up for good, and let it in. And nothing the worse. A great shroud billowing in all over you, on top of you. And little or nothing the worse, little or nothing. Back down to the wharf with the night bag and the old green greatcoat your father left you trailing the ground. And the white hair pouring out down from under the hat till that time came on down. Neither right nor left, not a curse for the old scenes, the old names, not a thought in your head, only get back on board and away to hell out of it. And never come back. Or was that another time? All that another time? Was there ever any other time but that time? Away to hell out of it all and never come back. Not a sound. Only the old breath and the leaves turning, and then suddenly this dust. Whole place suddenly full of dust. When you opened your eyes, from floor to ceiling, nothing, only dust, and not a sound. Only what was it said? Come and gone. Was that it? Something like that. Come and gone. Come and gone. No one come and gone. In no time. Gone in no time.